Hello and welcome to another live stream of Stars, Stripes, and Anfield Nights brought to you by LFC Transfer Room. I'm your host Rigo, and tonight I'm joined by Drew as well as Brandon. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you guys doing today? Drew, start off with you.
Doing good, Rigo. Appreciated your Christmas festive spirit. Thought I'd join in, start lighting the mood for the holidays. Happy to join. Hopefully, good game tomorrow and through to the semifinals.
Yeah, definitely. Hope for a good match tomorrow after two subpar matches back to back there. Brandon, how's it going on your end there in Columbus, Ohio?
I'm doing all right. I feel like Billy Corgan here. I'm wearing all my clothes at once. I got a Brooklyn themed, like, old Ebbetsfield wool jersey that's itching me like crazy or scratching me like crazy. And I'm wearing a Columbus themed Santa hat, talking about Liverpool. It's all over the place right now.
Hey. The love of footy knows no bounds, right? So you got your MLS team and of course your main team and Liverpool FC. But glad to see you guys are doing well. For those of you who are live now on the stream, thank you so much for joining. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. But I'm pretty sure those of you who are on, all five of you, have liked and subscribed already. But hopefully those numbers start picking up. But Muse, nice to see you on there. Paul, as always, LFC Transfer Room contributor as well. Great to see you on the chat there as well. All right, so let's get to the matter at hand. Of course, we do have a match coming up tomorrow against what team is that? West Ham. West Ham, the Hammers. Um, so we've had quite a few interesting matches versus the Hammers. Obviously, for tomorrow, it's to advance to the semis for the Carabao Cup. Some crazy matches today. We'll kind of resume. We'll kind of get into those as well as some of the action that we experienced today. I wouldn't want to be Kieran Trippier tonight. I definitely would not. I would not envy his life at the moment. But let's start off with a couple of injury updates heading into tomorrow's match. So the press conference was led today by Pep Linders, uh, Jurgen Klopp's assistant coach, of course. And top of the list there was with regards to Ryan Gravenberch. He is dealing with fatigue. It's not an actual hamstring injury, so thank God for that. We can type on that. We can ill afford another midfield injury. Um, Alexis MacAllister, supposedly pain free, but he's still a doubt for the Arsenal match. Diogo Jota, currently on the mend, looking good. Possible for the Arsenal match as well. He has definitely a great history playing against the Gunners, so it would be great to have him there, especially since we're kind of experiencing goal drought with the forward line. And the saddest news, unfortunately, is Ben Doak looks to be sidelined for long term with what I believe is ACL or MCL injury that's going to require surgery. So one of the starlets there kind of got put out for this season. So that's some sad news there. But overall, from those injury updates, what positives are you gleaning from there? I'll head over to you, Brandon. What was the most positive news you gained from today's press conference?
That Yoda's coming back soon, and McAllister's not like a late January type thing. I know there was some worry with like the stitches and like draining blood from his knee that like maybe this could be a long-term thing. It doesn't seem like it's going to be, but yeah, good news, Yoda coming back, especially um, how kind of not dire. That's probably way too strong of a word. Like how out of form people up top seem to be at the moment, and just how the team kind of seems to be kind of really lacking a spark or just lacking a what Yoda can do, where disappear for 90 minutes and pop up in the last second to score a goal. Like this team kind of needs that, just like somebody just pops up in the right place at the right time to put one away. Whereas we're really lacking that right now.
Yeah, we're definitely lacking some definition there. Having Diogo on board would definitely be a big boost to that. Drew, your thoughts on today's press conference updates on our injury status at the moment?
I think for me, it's probably Jota and Gravenberch. I think similar sentiments as Brandon for Jota. I think it's just been tough for the forward line. They've had all the burden on them for the most part, and it just hasn't been clicking recently. But I think when Jota's there and they're all fit, then you have enough like mix there, especially coming off the bench. when you see like the bench with like Gakpo and Jota, or if it's like Diaz and Jota, Nunez, whoever it is, like the fact that you can bring on two forward options to like absolutely change things up, I think is really refreshing for the team. Gives Klopp some options, creates some competitiveness for the guys in the forward line trying to stake claims for their spot. So I think just having Jota back fit will be huge for the team. Like you said, Rigo, he loves a match against Arsenal, so I'm really hoping he gets on some minutes and adds to that tally. And then for me, Gravenberch, I really like what he can do on the pitch. I think he offers a lot. And as you're saying, like not another midfield injury that was like something I was hoping we could avoid. And I think he offers a little spark that's a little bit different than, say, MacAllister or Zappslot with how he moves on the ball, how he can turn players and drive a goal. But those are probably the two biggest positives for me. Where are you sitting on that?
Well, for me, the biggest news, obviously, at least in my thoughts, is the Diogo Jota news. Thankfully, he's not sidelined even longer. We are missing a little bit of quality up top, and as you mentioned, Drew, having the ability, if he's not starting, at least to be able to call him off the bench if we're looking for a score, is definitely a big arrow for Klopp to wield later on in matches. And as you said as well, he can look like he's not doing anything during the match, and all of a sudden pops in with a goal, an assist, or two goals in a matter of minutes. So that's one great thing that we have been kind of lacking, not taking advantage, just taking advantage of our chances. But looking further ahead, well, what are your guys' thoughts on potential lineups for tomorrow? Obviously, we have a critical match coming up on Saturday the 23rd versus Arsenal, first place Arsenal for first place. So with that in mind, does that factor a lot into Klopp's thinking, do you think, Brandon? Or is he looking at it, let's win this match to advance, and then we'll deal with what happens after this match for the Arsenal?
I feel like it's more I think he does plan to try to win every single game. Like there's been times in Klopp's tenure where we all expect a big time rotation and then he plays everybody, or he plays like we don't need Mo to play this game and he plays 120 minutes because the game goes to extra time, and it's like, oh god, now we got the weekend. I think Klopp does really get to a point where he wants to win everything all the time, and I still think obviously Kelly will play tomorrow in goal if he's available, right? For some reason, I feel like is he got an injury issue right now?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think Color is dealing with anything at the moment, but
Something popped in my head for some.
yeah, he has been less than inspiring.
Yeah, but I still
past
think
few
you'll see him tomorrow. Kwanzaa starting. I'm trying to think lineup wise up top with all the injury issues we also have. We can't rotate as much as you probably like going into an Arsenal game, top of the table game, but you still should see quite a bit of rotation. Sobo out, I would expect. Probably Mo still starts. I still think Mo ends up starting just because I think Mo also wants to start and play himself out back into form.
Yeah, we've been relying heavily on his scoring and assisting, and he's dried up a little bit as well. And with teams parking against us, yeah, we do need a little bit more productivity. So Brandon's thoughts are we will see a lot of rotation from Klopp, similar to what we've experienced with the Europa League. Drew, are you thinking the same, a lot of rotation, or are we going for it?
I think it could go either way because like Brandon's saying, like in the past, I would have thought Klopp would do like full scale changes, and he's done that where he hasn't taken or it didn't seem like he was taking competitions seriously beside domestic competitions like in his first couple of years. But when you look at who's left in the Carabao Cup, we're the favorites and we should be going for this one. I always think getting a trophy and another trophy in the cabinet's huge. Players are going to remember that, especially this one, since you get the final while the season's still going, and a good chunk of it. Just getting that habit of winning and bringing home a trophy, it's good. It's good to build that momentum for the team. So I think he'll start probably a stronger side, and then potentially with the aim of taking players off once you secure that lead, kind of because it's also at Anfield. So I think we have that to fall back on. And maybe it's a scenario where Klopp, keeps Mo as starting. Maybe it's like Gakpo on the left to give Diaz a rest, and then Nunez up top, and then just try to blitz him. Maybe midfield of Endo. I think Soboslai might benefit from starting because he had a terrible match against United. So maybe like 60 minutes of him on the pitch. See if he can find some form, take him off. Maybe Curtis Jones. And then you can always alternate, or vice versa, keep the stars on the bench, start Curtis Jones on the wing, something like that. I think Klopp has the options here with West Ham. I think we have the huge benefit of being at Anfield. And I do think we have enough to make like a handful of changes. So I'm torn whether to start with a full lineup and just go for it, but I think there will definitely be, as Brandon was saying, like Quants at the back and a few bit changes. I think maybe Diaz resting, Cody Gakpo left wing, Nunez up top, that kind of stuff. Just one or two changes.
Yeah, we haven't seen Cody on the left wing too much. We've seen him primarily play down the middle or even in midfield lately. He's also one that would benefit from a goal or two, or at least a positive match display. So, in my thoughts, for my thoughts, I do think you do need to rotate at least a little bit. I definitely would take Dom out of there. He's currently on pace to shatter his minutes played already, and he does seem a little worse for the wear. I'm not so sure if it's so much fatigue at this point, or whether or not it's more of a tactical shift for him, because his chance creation has definitely taken a nosedive from what he initially started off as with us. Those man of the match performances aren't coming through as much, but you can say that for quite a few of our players at the moment. We have been getting the results, but not necessarily due to the our play. We've just kind of been sneaking them through, and it did bite us on the weekend. So for me, I would rotate a little bit. I would take Van Dijk out, and I would start Kwanzaa along with Ibu for just like they did in the Europa match. Trent still to start. Unfortunately, I still keep Gomez on the bench as kind of an option to bring out in case we do need to push Trent into midfield. For left back, that's actually the question for me. Do we keep running Simi out there all these matches? Chambers did not look super great midweek last week, but perhaps he gets a run out this week. But yeah, I do think I'm with you guys. I do think a trophy would be great, especially considering so many new players that we have on this squad. So it's not the same squad that won trophies in the past. So to get that taste in their mouth of winning in a Liverpool shirt, I think would be fantastic. So with that, so a little bit of rotation. But with that, I guess let's get into what are your thoughts on how the match is going to play out? Are we pulling through? Do you think West Ham's going to park the bus, a la Manchester United, who didn't show up to play, but just to survive the siege and hopefully escape with a draw? Well, how do you see tomorrow's match playing out, Brandon?
They're going to park because obviously they're at Anfield, but they're not going to park nearly as much as United did, because United came in with this one goal of mine was not to concede. And I think if we did concede, we probably would have put 3 or 4 past them. Just that was their whole goal, was just not to give up anything. And, I guess good for them. They actually did it. I think they'll go for it. I think it's more like one of those they'll probably try to win like the first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of each half, come out strong in the second half, try to nick a goal and then really kind of park it. But it's really hit us on counters. You expect to see Bowen, because at this point, the way kind of everybody else is kind of situated, whoever wins this game is the heavy favorite for the trophy. I mean, who's left? I mean, Chelsea. I mean, West Ham's better than Chelsea in my opinion. I think whoever wins this game would be the favorite. Then being at Anfield, you have to expect the crowd to be up and ready for this, because as we've all said, we are definitely the favorites to win this one, and there's no reason why we're not. So I think you'll feel that kind of in the crowd itself. It's like, this is probably our biggest test left in this competition with how results have been. So I think they'll go for it, but they'll be measured about it. They'll be definitely kind of control these short bursts of the game and really try to hit us. I think they did that earlier in the season where when we played them earlier in the season, they did that pretty well, where they kind of came out, played decent, really sat back, and then right there at the end of the first half, I think that's when they got their goal, if I'm thinking correctly. I'm probably 100% wrong, but I feel like that's what happened in the game against West Ham earlier this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the match results. It's not absolutely fresh in my mind at the moment. All right, so yeah, I would agree there as far as that.
Diving header, that's what happened. Boeing's like diving header right at Van Dijk's foot. That's how he scored that goal. I remember because I'm like, that's a ridiculously stupid good header for him.
Oh man, and how do you think tomorrow's match will play out, Drew?
I think David Moyes is a hell of a manager. He's definitely given us battles in the past, and I think this kind of suits them, to be honest. I think this will be a very tough match because they could do like the blitz, like Brandon's saying, first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, that kind of looking to nick a goal. I think it really depends on what side he sees Liverpool put out, because I think he's going to put out his strongest side. There's no reason why they shouldn't do that. They're not, doing great in the league. They're doing all right in Europe, right? They advanced in their group.
West Ham's currently in 8th place with 27 points, just one behind Man United, and they have moved on to. Yep. Let's see. I think they proceeded through Europe.
Yeah,
I don't think the matches are set, so I'm not seeing it on the schedule, but
they won their
group.
Advanced. Yeah, that's like, I think David Moyes has that platform to build on after winning the Conference League last year. Like, just getting another trophy for that club would be absolutely huge. And as Brandon said, like, whoever wins this match is probably favorites. I think Chelsea could maybe show up if we got knocked out by West Ham, and maybe they, blanket Pochettino would just throw everything at that competition to get a trophy. But I think it really plays into Moyes' hands, because he can see how we're lining up, and if Liverpool play a slightly weakened side or rotated side, he could just absolutely try to blitz Liverpool, get some quick goals, and then hold on. So I think it really depends on what side we face, and I'm hesitant and cautious to say that this will be a game that we will straight up win with no problems, especially after the performance against United. I think this will be a very tough match for us. But if we get through 2-leg semifinal, you'd back us to get to the final all day on that, whoever we face.
Yeah, with that format, with having a match at Anfield, whether it's the initial or the comeback, I think it's highly critical and would put us as the favorite in my opinion as well. So I agree with you there. With that, welcome, Colin. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Sorry for my tardiness.
Fourth man, no worries, sir. Glad to have you on board. So we're discussing we're discussing our thoughts on tomorrow's match against West Ham and what we're thinking of how it'll play out. So you just got in, but I'll just throw you right into the frying pan. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's match? And first off, do you foresee Klopp turning over the roster a lot with regards to the starting 11? And secondly, how do you see the match playing out as far as results?
I think probably like B team, like solidly B. I would guess not too many changes though. I think when it comes down to it, I think a lot of times Jurgen often wants to put out the strongest side that he can and can kind of get away with, unless it is like a real, like just absolutely have to have a rest for many people. So, and especially I think West Ham's a fickle team, and can be really on their day can be really difficult. Other days they get absolutely battered, but I think that they, when they're up for it, they're hard to play against. So I would expect a B plus kind of side. I think like Szoboszlai might like starts, Curtis Jones maybe, but not too much rotation.
Do you see any of the big guns being held back, like Virgil, Allison, Mohamed?
I don't foresee Virgil, just because because of Matip's injury, all of a sudden that kind of changed. I would expect maybe to see like Virgil and Joe Gomez or something like that. Virgil's kind of injury history record with like kind of fatigue sort of knocks is really good. He's not really sitting out unless he's truly injured. Ibrahima Konate's record in the same thing is quite bad. So if it comes down to like just resting for
Arsenal.
for then I could see it as him holding him off for the weekend. Yeah, I think
big loss.
Mo as well.
Not having Matip anymore.
Yeah,
because we can't we can't run the risk of overplaying Ibu. He's almost our center back version of Thiago, unfortunately.
Yeah,
in some respects.
So
how do you see it? How do you see it playing out? Do we escape with a victory there? A hard fought victory? Easy one? Do we lose?
I think we win.
Checking out tomorrow.
I think we win. I don't think it will be pretty, and I don't think that West Ham really like to let us off the hook, really ever. Even when they seem to be in a down spell, they like to give us a good run for it. So I would expect 2-1, 1-1 going into extra time, and then to penalties.
No extra time. So straight.
It just goes straight to penalties, right? So yeah, like something along those lines.
Yeah, for some reason I could see it go to pens as well, just because we haven't had the best luck of scoring, and we do give up some crappy goals here and there as well. So if we are up, we do have the possibility of leaking one to let them draw it out. But we shall see. But we do have to put some respect on West Ham's name. They do have some ballers on that squad. All doing a great job of highlighting a few of them. Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, as well as Mohamed Kudus, and James Ward-Prowse, performing way above my expectations coming into this season for West Ham. So it's definitely a decent side there. Of their side, I guess quick thoughts. I would say Mohamed Kudus is probably the player most on fire for them now, but who causes the most fear in their lineup to you guys? I'll head over to Drew first.
Probably any one of those guys is a good shout, to be honest. They all can turn it on. Like Bowen, it's been a phenomenal goal scoring record for them. I know last season he wasn't up to it as much, but Kudus definitely has so much talent, and Paqueta as well. I think Ward-Prowse, though, could be very tricky with his set-piece delivery. I think they've got some big guys on the team. Depending on who we field, we got some big guys as well, so we should be able to man-for-man match up. But Ward-Prowse can hell of a set-piece delivery and could definitely cause a lot of problems. Hopefully we're not giving away stupid fouls anywhere near the box, or with just an opportunity in our half for them to whip in a free kick. Because, as you're saying, Rico, we tend to have a stupid goal that we give up in us, and that could easily come from a set piece where he just whips a perfect ball in behind and somebody didn't run out quick enough for the offsides, or just miss their man and they just tap it in.
Someone doesn't move on time, they stay on side, and it throws everything in the crap. I'll go over to you, Brandon, next. Who causes the most fear? Who would cause the most fear in your eyes to Liverpool tomorrow?
It'd be between for me, Ward-Prowse and Paqueta, because Paqueta is just such a good player. I think when we played him, it was just we could not get the ball off of him. He's just that type of level player. But Ward-Prowse, just how big their squad is and how he's got the aim at. I mean, Thomas Susek has 7 goals on the season from defensive midfield because he's 6'4". Like he's got one of the best dead ball delivery guys in the entire world, just feeding big guys balls all day. I'm not sure if I could say that. Is that allowed? My bad.
Can we quote that? Can someone type that into the chat so I can pop it on?
James Ward-Prowse would be just the set pieces delivery is just, it's tough. Like it's going to be very tough. It's going to be a lot, especially if my prediction of like maybe Kwanzaa and Ibu are playing with each other. Like, I mean, that'd be quite a test for Kwanzaa, for how little true, like, top-notch football he's got to play so far. That'll be probably his toughest test, is dealing with that type of set-piece delivery. And then Paqueta just can run a whole midfield, even though, like, West Ham may not be Liverpool level or City level. He's that type of player who could run a whole midfield by himself when he's on his game.
Yeah, definitely a super talented player. One that I would have loved to bring on board before he made the move to West Ham. Colin, who registers the most fear in your eyes from that West Ham squad?
Maybe not in the most or in the best form possible, but I think that Bowen really turns it on against us for sure. I would suspect that he always likes a game against us, and I would expect him to play well.
Yeah, Bowen, kind of a downish year last season, but certainly on it this year. Oh, it was a down season for Souček as well last year. It's kind of a dip in form, but as you said previously, Brandon, up to 7 goals now. So there's definitely a lot of threat there on the West Ham side, and something that we should not take lightly at all. So it does have me a little bit nervous heading into tomorrow, especially with our run of form lately. It's hasn't been the best, but hopefully we do squeeze out a victory tomorrow to advance in the Carabao Cup. Again, adding to the trophy cabinet would be terrific for Klopp's legacy, as well as Liverpool 2.0 moving forward. Now, quick reminder for those of you on the stream, make sure to like and subscribe. Put down any comments that you like, any thoughts, opinions, things you would want to see on the stream on Tuesdays. We do Stars, Stripes, and Anfield Nights primarily, well, pretty much just on Tuesday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern, and so on and so forth, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, whatever. We'd love any and all your feedback. And for those of you who are currently on, thanks so much for joining. Usual suspects on the chat, much appreciated. Shout out to you guys. And with that, let's look forward to I'm going to skip over the Arsenal match just because who knows what's going to happen between here and there. I kind of want to call attention to my headwear, Drew's headwear. Brandon's might be a little hard to make out just because it is branded a branded hat, not necessarily Christmas colors or holiday colors. And Colin obviously does not have one on, but still, he wasn't here at the onset to catch the memo. But it is the holiday season, and with that, the transfer season's almost here as well, coming right after the Christmas holiday. Last week we kind of threw out a couple of wish list items, but today I'd like to revisit that as well, since this is our last stream prior to the holiday. So with that, I'd like to ask you guys for 3 primary wish list items for each of you, and those of you on the chat as well, please throw those in. Now, there's been a few rumors popping up, especially dealing with now that Matip is out for the year and perhaps the rest of his Liverpool career. A lot of defensive center back names have been popping up. Some of them brand new, some of them we've heard before. One of the brand new ones that we are hearing is Lenny Yoro, who currently plies his trade over at Ligue 1 with Lille. He is an 18-year-old center back, 6'1", Frenchman. Has 15 matches played this year, already up to 2 goals. But his defensive numbers look pretty good. Mostly a lot of potential there, but he's the freshest name out there. Pretty sure none of you guys might have seen him play, but to me, at least, it's good news that we are shopping around, especially for young talent to kind of bring in. Another name that has made the rounds once again, Piero Hincapié from Bayer Leverkusen, center back / left back. Part-time starter now just because Alex Grimaldo has been on fire, and the center back pairings there, he's kind of found himself substituting a lot, so he might be a target. Gonçalo Inácio from Sporting over in the Portuguese league is another one that's made the rounds a lot. His name has come up. So those are some of the names on the center back side. Johan Bakayoko on the attacking end. So those are some names that have popped up. I'll go over to you, Colin, first. What would be at the top of your wish list, considering the squad makeup as is for Liverpool?
Yeah, because of Matip's injury, I really do think that this was something that we were going to address in the summer. And I think, unfortunately, because of the severity of that injury, I don't really know that I think it's very black or white at this point. I think it's either we are going to get his like long-term replacement or we are not going to get anything. I would certainly like to just, pony up and pay the money for who we'd like. I personally would like Inacio. Shout out to our good mate Steven, who has been beating that drum for like 6 months now. So yeah, I think that would be my like number one. I think everything after that would be kind of icing on top.
So center back would be number one, preferably Gonçalo Inácio. Brandon, what would be top of your Christmas wish list for Liverpool?
I've got three things here. I've got three things for you. I got first, it would be Ignacio at left, like to come in as a left-sided center back. Number two would be Jurgen Klopp has signed a new extension and will never leave and will become my father. And then the third would be Mohamed Salah signs a new contract and has like $1 billion release clause and guarantees either he's with us or we're going to get a lot of money for him. So that would be my three things on my Christmas list: is get Ignacio in the left-sided, and then those two other things would happen. Would be fantastic.
Awesome, man. And yes, we have been hearing some rumblings that Klopp and FSG are looking to possibly extend his deal. It is set to expire in 2026. So the latest I heard was possibly an additional 3 years, taking his contract to 2029. I think that would be absolutely fabulous. And yep, I wholeheartedly agree with extending Mohamed. I would for at least one more season, preferably two, and sticking a nice release clause on there just to guarantee the amount that a purchasing club would make, which would probably be one of the Saudi league clubs at this point. So, all right, some commonality there between Brandon and Colin. Googly eyes for Gonçalo Inácio. Let's make sure to send that message along to him. Can it be 3 for 3? Drew, who's on the top of your Christmas wish list for Liverpool?
I could go for 3 for 3, but I could also go for Ngapi. I think Bayern Leverkusen's a hell of a side, as showing from being top in Bundesliga. Xabi Alonso, doing a hell of a job there. I think it'd be an interesting shift to bring him over into Liverpool squad, potentially fight for the spot. But I also like Kwanzaa's ambition, saying that he wanted to get over Matip anyway. Condolences and everything. I think Kwanzaa really has the chance to like pull one up.
His comments were just. I love it, but at the same time, I was like, "Holy crap!"
I think it was like the borderline. I think like if anyone who read those comments, they probably were like, "Oh my god, like seriously, dude." But if you saw the way he said it, it wasn't too arrogant. It was just kind of like him being like, "No, I want this, and I was planning to take his spot anyway." It came off a lot better seeing him say it. I'm not even doing a good job, but the way he said it, it was borderline. Where I was like, show some respect, but at the same time, like, love the ambition. So.
Like, if you didn't catch the first part of what he said about Joel, and just caught to the last part where he said, "I was planning to take his spot anyway," and then it would definitely look a little worse than what it could possibly be interpreted as. But yeah, in my opinion, it's just straight competitiveness that he came in with a goal to become part of the squad and to start in the squad, and that's what you want. Like, why do you want a guy who would be happy riding the pine? So I'm all for that.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like, my one additional Christmas wish that Brandon and Colin didn't touch on would be a fully fit and firing for the rest of the season, Tiago. Like, because I think just seeing him, like, just when we're thinking about like that game versus United, I'm like, could you just imagine bringing Tiago on to like just absolutely dismember that midfield and defense with his passing abilities and like his abilities on the ball? So I think like that type, like he could finally be that luxury center midfielder that he's supposed to be, with the fact that we finally have a midfield that's pretty solid in terms of depth.
That can do the running for him as opposed to him doing the running for Jordan or Keita if he was around. Or
Any the guys who just injured and put it on his shoulders. But yeah, like to have him, like I think that would be like exactly what he's meant for as a player, to be that luxury player that you put in the midfield, that he doesn't need to carry the team on his shoulders, but can fully thrive. And I'm wondering how he could link up with Nunez, both Spanish speaking, like, Diaz as well. But, it doesn't matter who he's playing with. He can connect with them with the passes. So that would be my big Christmas wish, because I think that level of quality and the fact that we could really specialize what game he plays in and utilize him to his best, that would be a big Christmas present, and one that could bring a lot of trophies for us in the second half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And got to get something out of that contract. He's been out for going to be a year at this point, and yes, supreme quality. We've been robbed of seeing the amount that we should have seen from it, unfortunately, and I'm sure he feels awful about it too, and is working hard to get back in. But pretty much 3 for 3 on the wish list there. I would add myself as the fourth with the Inacio talk, just because I love lefties. I think we are severely lacking having a lefty CB who has the potential to possibly play as the left-sided center back in a 3-man pairing, especially with all the drifting into midfield that Trent does. But Paul did raise a very, very interesting point there that I'll post to the chat. Left side of CB would be ideal, but I have a feeling Virgil would be reluctant to move from the left side to accommodate a left footer. Thoughts first off on, do you think Virgil would have any issue with that? Team captain Virgil in shifting over? Feel free to jump in. Yeah,
I wouldn't think so. I mean, he might have a little bit, but at the same time, he's the captain of the team. He needs to do what's best for the team in general, and I think that's I think we've talked about in the past, like how Virgil's kind of captaincy kind of seems. It's very loose. It's very best for the group. Yeah, he's not as intense. He's not as like in faces of everybody. Like Hendo would bark, and he was an extension of coaching on the field, and he'd bark and get in the right positions. Whereas I feel like Virgil kind of knows the team and knows the personality of this team is much more laid back, much more kind of free flowing. So I don't think he would cause that type of disruption. Also, I mean, he's a right-footed playing left center back. Ignacio could be a left-footed playing right center back, or we can go to a back three, or there's options to do this. And also with Ibu and Matip having injury issues, Gomez having injury issues, there will be games for him to play. So it's not like a worry of he'll just sit on the bench and be a $60 million guy we bring off the bench at the end of games. There will be games for him to play.
My point.
Go right ahead.
My point about, I guess about like the long term specifically for Virgil, which is that I think it's so important, especially as players age in that way, to make sure that their minutes are limited, not because they can't do it, but because that ensures that when they are on the pitch, they're able to give that kind of 100%. I think we saw this, I think, really with Henderson and with Fabinho, where because their minutes were forced to be so high, their drop off was so severe in my mind because of the like overexposure. Essentially, like as they age, I think you have to slowly like gear them down and like kind of get specify what you get out of them. and Virgil is playing unbelievably this year, but like as the years continue to go, making sure that he doesn't need to play, like he doesn't need to be playing this game tomorrow, and frankly, like doesn't need to be playing really like Premier League games at home against like Forest. Like if we have someone who's good enough like to be able to be in those
So, like,
spots,
to further extend the quality and the length of his career and contributions to Liverpool, as opposed to kind of petering down quicker just because you keep playing him, kind of maintain that world-class quality for a longer period, since we're not overplaying him, is why you think there'd be an abundance of play time available for someone like Inacio, Kwanzaa, Gomez, Kanate, etc., who we currently have.
Yeah, exactly. 4 competitions every year. There's plenty of game time to be spread.
Yeah, I mean, trying to win a quad, right? That's like the goal you initially start off with. That's 4 competitions right there. So, and with attrition, with matches lasting longer now, not to mention all the international matches and breaks that occur, I think you kind of have to not just proof your team now, but kind of future proof it as well, just because you never know when someone's going to kind of nosedive from quality to just salary on your squad, So, any other thoughts on perhaps on what fit Inacio would play then? So, would we all have him on our wish list, but would he go right into the starting 11 in your thoughts? And if so, where? Because I'm not sure that's been dissected too much. Because we have Andy Robertson coming back, I believe, sometime in January. We have Tsimikas, who we just extended, is Mohamed Salah's best friend on the squad, and should play a decent amount of matches. So what's the fit? What's the best 11?
Well, with Liverpool, it never seems like any of the big signings come in and are ready to go. I mean, there's obviously a couple exceptions, Virgil, Allison, but they came right in. Yeah, those headphones are pretty dope. Thank you, Paul. I love these headphones. I got them working. They were kind of crapping out on me a couple weeks ago. I got them working again. No, I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Paul. What was I saying? Oh, betting into the team. It seems like players do take a while. I mean, it took Robertson a couple, months to displace Alberto Moreno in the team. It took, weeks for certain players to kind of break in. Like, there's only been a few guys who've hit the, taken to it like water. There's like Mo Salah. There was Szoboszlai early in the season. There's Virgil. There's Allison. But almost everybody else. Yeah. Lucha came into like a perfect team to like really for him to thrive in. So like, it takes a while for a lot of people to pick up the Klopp system. It has the added advantage of it. He doesn't have to come in and just be the guy like Virgil had to when he came in. Like he had to be the guy to turn around a defense that was, Lovren and Matip. And it was at that point, it was Karius and Mignolet like guarding the goal. It wasn't a great time. So he doesn't have to have that pressure on him. He has that pressure. He can learn the system. That's why I don't think he would be like an actual winter signing, because I do think the back three might be the next tactical revolution for the team. So I don't think they're going to try and pull that off in January. I think that'd be a summer thing. So that's why, as much as I would love it, if they do, he's just going to be kind of more here and there where we need him, not so much in the starting lineup.
Yeah, it'd be hard to expect them just to get thrown right into the fray there. But yeah, having the option of him would be great. I would agree with what Colin's saying, what Brandon is saying, that future state, LFC might switch to a more permanent looking three back. Just because we are having Trent move to midfield so much. I'm not saying as far as permanent, but as a more regular look, just having 3 center back type guys at the back to kind of cover up for Trent's roaming into midfield and taking a free man position to kind of be creative up front. So I would rather more size and speed back there on that left side than a Tsimikas or Andy Robertson. But again, having the ability to call upon somebody who is a left center back, I think would be great, as opposed to trying to put a square peg into a round hole to make that work. But all right, so So center back seems to be the biggest need or the most desired thing on the wish list. And do you guys feel we need any offensive additions to the squad? We do have Mohamed Salah. He's going to miss around 2-3 weeks, but perhaps due to the AFCON Cup. And now Ben Doak is out for that right wing spot. So at the moment, we're looking at perhaps maybe playing Dom there, either asking Lucho to switch sides, Cody, or pushing Elliot to be a starting right wing. Uh, are we in the market for any offensive additions, do you guys think?
We should be, but I don't think we are. I think that the lack of goals all of a sudden is starting to become a very all of a sudden the goals dry up and we're like kind of all looking around like, okay, well, like where are they going to come from at the moment? I would like that to happen. I don't think it's going to. I think that we'll cover that spot with any number of solutions in the team. That's not going to be something that we're going to do in the winter. In the winter for sure. I'd even have a hard time believing, unless someone else leaves, I'd have a hard time believing it in the summer too.
It's a tough sale. It's a tough sale like, for anyone to come in and be like, "Hey, do you want to fill in for Salah for like 1 month?" Yeah, like that's essentially what we're looking for, and like that's it. Like it's not like even if you come in and do a great job, Salah comes back and it's gonna be like, Salah, you're good. You're on the bench. We found. Like I can't foresee any situation where anyone comes in and is able to do that to Mo Salah. So I think Colin's right. You just kind of chop and change and get through that month, which shouldn't be as long as it was, seeing as we have that little winter break now after the holidays. So,
but we did see after the last AFCON that Mo did come back and looked like I'm not sure if it was a result of him actually losing the final to Senegal and Sadio Mane. But it took him a while to kind of get going once again after the AFCON. And we're so, I believe at this point, overly reliant on him scoring for us or creating for us that it would be a little bit concerning to me if we don't get these guys firing. If that's the case, that these guys are still stuck in second gear, aren't really creating on their own, are scoring goals against Lask as opposed to teams in the Premier League. We had a really nice thread on our LFC Transfer Room Twitter feed earlier today, kind of highlighting the recent flow of matches and kind of how the combinations paired up with each other as far as productivity. So give that a look. But it'd be concerning to me. Another concerning thing is we're really not beating teams off the dribble either. So Lucho Diaz, it looks like he dribbling too much into a crowd, whether that's because Darwin's taking up the center or he's doesn't have that burst, or teams are just expecting him to dive middle because he's not doing enough runs on the outside. Mo likes to drift inside as well. So it just feels either really congested or we're just not able to kind of break teams down on a one-to-one basis. So one name that has popped up and is doing an incredible job in his league and in Europe as well is Johan Bakayoko, 20-year-old Belgian player who currently plies his trade in the Eredivisie. And his name has popped up, lefty player, left-sided player too. So perhaps one of those names on the cheap might be good for us. I don't know. That's just one concern for me. It's just you just really look out of ideas unless Trent starts coming into midfield and tries to start dictating the play. I'm not sure how you guys feel on that.
I'd sign Bakayoko up in a heartbeat. Admittedly, again, have not seen a ton of him. Have seen his games kind of sporadically, but think he's electric. I am starting to. I didn't think that I was kind of long-term worried, but I'm starting to become long-term worried about Diaz's pace. I'm worried that he doesn't have that extra step to get to the byline past people, which was kind of what would give him that space then to cut back in. Yeah, they were so protective of taking that step down the line towards the end line that it would give him that extra space in the middle, and I just don't think that people are biting on that anymore. It just looks, the attacking like patterns just look really stale at the moment. They look predictable and they look like they have for a long time, and they clearly, like, the attacking patterns need changed. I would expect to see some, like, a lot of work on that, especially over that like 2-week break for AFCON, and after then I would you definitely need that refresh for sure.
All right. No one else with a feeling that we should perhaps make an addition on the attacking side, kind of set on there, or is it more FSG isn't gonna approve any attacking purchases at the moment?
I just feel the need would be elsewhere. Like playing into the FSG thing, the need is elsewhere. If they're actually going to spend money, it'd be elsewhere. Like when you look on paper, we have 5 really good attacking players. We have some players who can move up if need be, like with maybe Elliott or Soboslai, who can move into those positions. The need would be elsewhere in the team, and I don't think they're going to sanction another big time attacker to come in, and unless they are that much game changing. Like I can't even think of anybody off my head that would really be a realistic option. We got to break the bank now to go get this guy. Like I think Bakayoko would be somebody you can go get in the summer. I don't think anybody's coming to get him in the winter. So it just, the business side of it doesn't make sense to me.
Some opinion, and yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think CB is probably the place we can probably ill afford another injury. So I'd probably look to reinforce there, especially if Matip is coming, contract is running out, and that money's kind of coming off the books. Even if we give him a 1-year deal to kind of get himself back into shape, I don't think the terms would be at the same amount. So yeah, I do agree there, and especially with our ownership. All right, coming up towards the hour, and it's up to, at this point, I kind of want to throw it up to either the panel or to the comments section as far as what topics you want us to close out on, and then we'll close out with our closing remarks or thoughts from each of the panelists on today. One name, at least I'll pop one up while other folks think of topics. Paul, I 100% agree with you there. Mohamed Kudus is the one that we let slip. From that World Cup, we saw him ball out at the World Cup. We saw Cody ball out at the World Cup. But yeah, if I had a do-over, if we were making a move from somebody from the Eredivisie last season, I probably would have taken Mohamed Kudus over Cody Gakpo. For his positional versatility, we knew going in he could play wing or even center forward or midfield. And plus, as stated earlier, I love myself a lefty. Any of you guys, would you guys swap out Cody for a Kudus, especially considering he can cover the right wing? Anyone would have done a do-over? You say yes, no, Rigo, you're dumb, whatever you want.
Take them both, man. I wouldn't want to give up Cody. Like if this is, fantasy or scenario, I'd take them both. We could have done it. Yeah, I think Cody. I like Cody's attitude. I think it hasn't been clicking for him lately, but I think he's got that hunger that you like to see in a player, and he's young, so I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. But Kudus is electric. Very talented player. He's gonna, I'm upset we let him slip through our fingers, but I equally would have been upset if Cody went to United. Not that he probably wouldn't have done well on United. I don't think many players do, but yeah, could have got them both.
Yeah, I'd go with that option too as well, Drew. If we could have both, I would have loved to have both.
They're both really reasonably priced. They were not like, wasn't like, buy both of them. They're both 90 million. Like they were both very, very affordable.
Yep, it wasn't Anthony prices, certainly. I
What a
believe
bum.
both of them went for less than the both of them went combined for less than the total price of that superstar they have over on Manchester United, Anthony.
Bum.
Oh man. So yeah, that's one I do kind of regret. And Paqueta, as mentioned before, but this was again, if you've seen me on the stream for the past couple of years, when I was just absolutely railroading Jordan Henderson and how he shouldn't be starting for us, Lucas Paqueta was one of those names that I thought would have been fantastic for us in the midfield. Again, a lefty who can attack and can defend and is all over the place. But can't cry over the ones you lost. You kind of have to focus over for the ones that who could be coming in. And with that, for my Christmas wish, um, I would just hopefully get health for Thiago as well as Stefan Bastecic, get Andy back also, and just go to battle with those guys. I think getting Stefan and Thiago would make a big difference for us in overall on the team. But we shall see. All right. Any other topics on the chat or anything you guys want to bring up? If not, we'll go around the horn for closing thoughts. All right. I'll take your silence as let's move forward with our closing thoughts. All right. I'll go over to my hat partner in Drew.
Closing thoughts. Let's get a win tomorrow. Be nice to get into that semifinal. As we were saying earlier, 2 legs in a semifinal. You got to favor Liverpool at that point with who's left in the competition. So get it done. No injuries tomorrow. Even if it's like a scrappy 1-0 or penalties to get it through, just get it done. Get us into the semifinals. Give us that to look forward to in January. And Jota fit for Saturday. I don't care how you get it done. Arsenal, I hate them so much. I think anyone who watches the channel knows that. Like, they're the team I despise the most. Just everything about them. Yeah, I love Saka and Martinelli. I think they got some great players, but them as a team, as a franchise, they don't deserve it. So just put them back down. Let's get back to first place.
Yes. Brandon, your closing thoughts on our last stream before Christmas.
I just want to say happy holidays to everybody in the chat. It's always great to do these shows. Like these have been a lot of fun. Same thing as like Drew, just like get a win tomorrow, get the big win over the weekend. That's what we got to do. Like we're Liverpool. We are the mighty Reds of Liverpool. You never walk alone. All that fun stuff. Keep red. Never walk alone. Yeah. Destroy Arsenal. I want to watch all the Arsenal TV stuff over the weekend. It's always the funnest thing in the world when we beat them 4-0 and they have their meltdown videos. It is the highlight of my holiday season. Really, it really is.
Awesome. And yes, definitely echo those good sentiments Brandon just spoke about. Colin, your closing remarks, sir.
Yes. Well, I guess more seriously, I know this, it's a very happy time of the year. It can also be really hard for a lot of people. And just hoping that you 3 guys and everybody else in the chat are able to find like some happiness and some peace in this time of the year, because it's tough for a lot of us. So hope you guys have a great holiday and get to enjoy it with loved ones and everybody in the chat too.
Definitely. Yes, Colin. Holidays can be a supremely happy time, and for some people it can be kind of a sad time, just because people that we love aren't around anymore. So by all means, please appreciate those who are here with you. Make sure you tell them you love them every day. And those who aren't here, you can still tell them you love them every day. Nothing's stopping you from that. So from my closing thoughts are: hug the ones you love. Be thankful every day for getting up and being able to do whatever it is you do in your daily life. And I'm very thankful and appreciative of being part of this LFC Transfer Room family, getting to meet these great guys. Hopefully, I meet some of you guys in person one day. But if not, just knowing, talking to you guys on the daily is a great boost, and hopping on these streams, it's a great boost. I lost my dad 10 years ago, December 27th, a couple of days after Christmas. So it's definitely a lot of emotions during the holiday, but make sure you live in them and live them. And that's what makes you human, makes you alive. So just appreciate it and love your life. And with that, you'll never walk alone. And thank you all for joining the LFC Transfer Room. Have a great night and happy holidays.